Tangible personal property tax. Businesses struggle, especially new businesses as it is, and have to pay the initial tax on equipment, but they must pay tax on that same equipment. How can we address this and change it so businesses have better chance of survival? I've been a business owner for a lot of years and have had the same I've had the same challenge. I've received notices from the county in times that I have not completed them. I've had them come knocking at the door. I've had them peeping in my windows to look and see what equipment was there, to verify that they still had the same stuff on their list, to see if there's anything new. So I'm familiar with it. I know what it's like, and I've been on that side of the fence. And one of the things that we have to understand is that the assessor's office doesn't have control over the mandate for taxing personal property or business property. That's something that comes down from the state. I'm an advocate for business owners that want to argue that sometimes this is an excess tax. I get it. The county also has a budget, and somehow they've managed to, I wouldn't say they've managed. It is part of the budget because it's a taxation that's been mandated by the state. And they include those revenues in their budget, and to have them removed, of course, would affect the budget for the county-wide. So, being the assessor, I understand our responsibility, our role for, completing those valuations on those personal properties and business property equipment. One of the things that is, I guess, good news, it's a small consolation at least, is that at least the state did change the threshold to $15,000. And if you're out there and your personal property valuation is less than $15,000, you're looking at a zero tax. So through recent legislation, I know they were trying to eliminate it completely. I think this was a piece of the compromise. Although as an assessor, I'm responsible to uphold the law and continue to tax these properties. But personally, if I had a business, I would agree with anyone that would push something towards the state to say that this is one of those things that we might want to look at reducing to a minimal or even eliminating. I get it. I agree with it. And I know that that's going to rub the wrong way with a lot of people. There are a lot of folks out there who are going to disagree with me. But having been a business owner, I completely understand it. One of the options that I exercised to help reduce my payout of cash so that I could hold cash is I leased a lot of equipment. And a lot of times when I leased that equipment, I would go out and find companies that would lease me equipment that included tax in that payment, so that when I paid the lease fee, it included the tax that would then go to the county, and I wouldn't pay an additional tax for my equipment. And of course, it was always deductible for me. The lease payments, which included the tax, was something that I used to deduct from my income.
Regarding the tangible personal property tax on business, and I'm someone who's started business. I've been an entrepreneur, and I know that the grind that entails, the investment it takes, and a lot of times you're just barely making it as a new owner of a business, and that's challenging because the personal property tax kind of feels like the straw that breaks the camel's back. And so I know the burden that is to somebody who's in business, and I think that is something that really needs to be looked at. I think the flip side to that conversation is that multiple millions of dollars are collected in that personal property tax through some of these huge corporations, like the solar farms and so forth, and those taxes are obviously utilized to benefit the county and the services that are provided. But I personally, because I've been on the flip side of that equation, and where I've paid the personal property tax, I'm in favor of really. I think one of the things it said was working with the Chamber of Commerce to try to find a solution for small business like myself, because I have experienced the burden of that tax, and so that's my feeling.